So I'm just doing my morning normal routine. Nothing crazy. Or some people sometimes thinks it is. But I'm just making my vacuum smoothie, the ultimate nutrition. And obviously the way to maintain nutrients with vacuum blending by sucking the oxygen out so you don't oxidize the food. It actually really truly makes a difference. It's kind of almost hard to believe. The food literally tastes different too. And I'm just gonna make it. So it's all live. Whoever wants to see it can see it. I don't know how long the video will go. I might have to stop the camera, so I apologize. But that is what I do in my mornings. The first thing I do, and this has just been absolutely life-changing, but what I'm ultimately doing here is I just loaded up on hydrogen water. I've done other videos on that if you guys haven't seen that. And I do that for my health, obviously, anti-inflammatory. Really helps, in my opinion, all my hormone levels, proper hydration, and it gets me ready for digestion, and then I'm gonna give my body ultimate nutrients. So I'm starting with my power shake. I've shown you guys this before. This is from a company called iShopPurium.com. If you want a really big discount code, they give good discounts. The discount code is uprising144K. And this stuff has really impressed me. I can tell by the way it tastes, the constitution of it, and on top of it all, the lab test showed it's cleaner than anything I had ever used. And that's the reason I changed from the one that I used to use, which was not bad. But this one is, I'm all about the best, guys. So, you know, when it comes to your health, you just don't want to cut corners, in my opinion. But again, just my opinion, you know, because our health is so important, and you know why we're here alive on earth. Clearly nobody gets out alive, and it's really important, in my opinion, to be doing your best. Obviously I know from personal experience that life sucks when you're sick. And then I'm going to put, and when you can't walk, this is turmeric, anti-inflammatory, anti-cancerous, and all sorts of other benefits. And that's organic right there. Everything's organic. This is actually minerals with a few nutrients. I always like more minerals in my smoothie, though there's minerals in all the fruits and vegetables I'm going to put in there, but I just like to have more. They really appear to work synergistically with the fiber and the hydrogen, actually. It's been a thing of beauty. This is really good for cognitive health. More minerals again, more nutrients, and that's raw cacao, you know, chocolate, but without all the milk and sugar, and it makes it chocolatey, and it's very affordable, so that's always nice. So let's keep going. So the first thing I'm doing, hold on one second. And you know what? I'm actually looking for something specific. Hold on a second. I want to add, there it is. I've been adding this sometimes, appears to be, remember, I'm not giving any medical advice, making no medical claims. I'm making no claims for or against any product or products. This is a natural way of getting B17 in your body, which appears to have potential anti-cancer effects. This one's lab tested. If you're interested in this one's from a website called rncstore.com. And again, if you want a discount code, it's uprising144K. If you notice, I put all these heavy nutrients in here first. That's what I do. So let's start with that. All right. And then I'm going to combine it. Oh boy. I'm running low on greens. I'm going to combine it with a lot of natural foods that the body seems to really like. And there's recent research actually that just came out, some of the best research they've ever done as far as how food actually affects our telomeres, which is ultimately what's causing us, it's a way of seeing how we're aging. So it's a way of seeing which foods actually cause less aging and ultimately are really better for you, quote unquote, in my opinion, in the long term, rather than short term, because there's certain foods that can be really great short term, but potentially not so great in the long term. And so these foods that I'm putting in are basically foods that were shown in the research, and I've been doing this already, so technically it appears that I was right, because I was going off of a lot of data, but this new data that just came out was very, very expensive research. Apparently some very wealthy man funded it, which was really great for all of us. And it's funny because they told him when they were doing the research, they let him know, say, look, this research study is only going to go, I think it was like 2 months. And they're like, look, in 2 months, we're not going to see any big differences in telomeres. It's not going to make a big deal. It's probably going to be a massive waste of money, yada, yada, yada. And ultimately, he said, you know what? I don't care. Do it. I want to see if we can figure something out here. And thank goodness that he did it, because it ended up turning out that they did see a substantial difference in just 2 months, I believe it was. And it was either 1 month or 2 months, but I think it was 2 months. And the results were actually so dramatic, they almost couldn't believe it. They were like, wow, what we're eating really, really, truly makes a difference as far as how we're aging and obviously our health. And the conclusion was, they ultimately were testing a lot of different things, but it really came down to some of the biggest arguments, which is fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, things of that nature, beans. I believe the beans one, they didn't talk a lot about it. And then the other one was very focused on meat. So beef, pork, things like that. And that's ultimately what they were really looking at. And it did show that, and they both, the diets that they created for all these people in the study was actually, all the diets were very healthy. So it wasn't like they were trying to not do one healthy. Everything was healthy for all the participants, whether they were eating meat or not eating meat in the diet. And I don't know if you guys already know what the results were, but it did come out the way that I expected, which ultimately did show fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, these things are the ones that actually extended the life. And the telomeres were way healthier, longer, and ultimately better than eating a lot of meat. And it doesn't mean that I'm against it. I just think that life is all about balance. And yeah, in fact, I'm going to be doing a video about somebody that I personally know who went on one of those carnivore diets because he was overweight. Not crazy overweight, but he was a little overweight. And when he stopped the diet, he started gaining the weight back, which he wasn't happy about, because he's like, hey, the whole reason I'm doing this is because I want to lose the weight and keep the weight off. So he went back on the carnivore diet, and then he was on that diet for quite a while, I believe like 2 years, maybe more. I mean, he was on it for, I remember, quite a while. He became very big on it. And thanks for the thumbs up, by the way. And it's a very sad story because he just actually recently died. It's pretty heartbreaking. Somebody I've known since childhood. And he literally died, which of something that nobody expected, because he didn't even have any issues with his heart. He died of a heart attack. And you know, when you eat literally nothing but meat, it causes a lot of issues with electrolytes. And it's very important to have proper electrolytes for your heart to function properly. It's also very important to have proper electrolytes for many reasons. So the whole thing was very sad. I know I would have given him a lot of suggestions as far as what to do to lose weight and be healthy, but he was a very stubborn person and just wanted to do it his way. And he heard about, you know, there's been so many shows and books and everything about these type of diets, and so he thought, hey, this is easy. I can just eat, you know, a lot of the foods that I really want to eat And so it was, Ed says, hi there. Hello, Ed. And so ultimately, yeah, that was a very sad thing that recently happened. And some people might even wonder, and I won't go into the detail, and please don't type it out, otherwise I'll have to remove you or something, but some people might wonder, well, did he get that little medicine that comes in a magic needle? And actually, he never did. So there was definitely didn't appear to be any causation from any medicine that he may have taken because he never took it. He was kind of against those things. Okay, let's get blueberries going. Blueberries are really good for the vascular system, also appear to be anti-cancerous. And this is going to be really odd, you know. I mean, I say odd because what you're going to notice here, I mean, this is going to be a very interesting smoothie. This is going to suck out all the oxygen while you're grinding the food. I mean, the only way to typically do something like this is when you eat it and then you're chewing it and it's oxidizing as you're consuming it. But when you make a smoothie, it can actually get oxidized because the blender, I mean, the food literally does oxidize, kind of like when you cut up an apple. So this is really a unique way. Whoever thought of it, I don't know. Sorry to hear about your friend, says Ed. Yeah, you know, it was extremely heartbreaking. There's been a lot of, I mean, I was going to do a video about it. I don't even know if I should or not, but there's been a lot of people dying lately around me, and it's just been so sad. So I'm putting a little raisins in here just to get a little natural boron and natural sweetness. They're organic, sun-dried. But yeah, there's been a lot of death lately around me. I think, I mean, I kind of lost count. It's like 7 or 8 people who have passed very short recently. Okay. Let's see here. You know what? My wallets are downstairs. Oh, that sucks. Let's see if I can find, oh, here we go. I'll find some type of alternative. Here we go. And yeah, sorry about the microphone thing. My microphone hasn't been working, so I can't take the sound with me. Okay, I'm putting some flax seeds. Flax seeds are really good fats. Look, you do want fats and oils. So don't get me wrong, by the way. We absolutely need fats and oils to function. And I get my fats from flax seeds, chia seeds. I'm going to put in almonds right now. Good fats, good oils. The science on them, that's what I go off as the data. It's really good. And let's see what else we can fit in this thing today. Let's put some hydrogen water in here. This is good. That's another really awesome thing. In fact, I'll bring it over here so you guys can see it if you want, how I do this. All right, so I pour the hydrogen water in here. Why? Because I found a study, it's kind of a wild study in Japan. Now, it's going to depend on how you make the hydrogen, because you can't do this with your average hydrogen. Now, this hydrogen is very stable from the Hydrofix because they make it the right way. Or technically the best way that, you know, the most difficult, but best way. And it literally soaks into the food. It appears to soak into the food and literally enhance it. And actually, here's my chia seeds that have also been soaked in hydrogen water. Thanks again for all the thumbs up, guys. You know, giving thumbs up is free, you know, but it's cool and it's nice and it's appreciated. And the chia seeds have a lot of fats, minerals again, fiber, another super crucial one, the data on that. Now, you know what? I'm just going to show you guys how I make the chia seeds because people do ask this. Hold on a second. Because technically, I mean, I am out, so let's just show you. Now, normally I would use hydrogen water, but I'm going to just use regular water for this. And of course, when I say regular water, I'm talking the cleanest water known to man. I mean, this is carbon distilled water. Whose suggestions for arthritis? Yeah, you know, it depends. There's 2 different types of osteoarthritis or rheumatoid arthritis. Arthritis, in my opinion, is actually not the most difficult thing to deal with. I've helped many people with that one. Probably the easiest way that I've ever seen. Remember, this is not medical advice. So remember with the chia seeds, guys, this is the trick. Because if you don't do it this way, it won't work. And believe me, I know, because I had a lot of trial and error to figure this one out. So first you put in the water, then you put in the chia seeds, and then you put in more water. Now, I do prefer the cleanest water known to man, so it doesn't ruin any of this, which is carbon distilled. If you want to see what I use, it's at a website called mypurewater.com, and the discount code is uprising144K. And then you shake it right away, otherwise it gets all clumpy. As far as for arthritis, first of all, I would lay off any bread. Like, I will absolutely eat zero bread. I don't even buy bread. That's the first thing. Here, hold on, let me put these chia seeds away. But you can see right here, chia seeds. A lot of fiber, iron, calcium, omegas, you know, protein. It's good stuff. Okay. So put this away. And you just keep on shaking it. If you set it down, it's gonna settle, and you gotta shake it right away again. So hold on, I'll be right back. All right, what's gonna be next? All right, so for arthritis, let me share that with you. Let me make sure. I'm out of a bunch of ingredients. I'm gonna have to go grab them downstairs, so that might take me a second, but I'll do this meanwhile and talk about arthritis. So obviously arthritis is actually one of two things. One, you have inflammation, obviously, and very uncomfortable and painful. I've personally dealt with that already too in my life. Way too young for that seems, but that's what happened. It actually happened when I was even younger, if you can believe that. And one of the causes, at least for rheumatoid, is actually coming from your gut. The scientific study that proved it was back in the 90s. Most doctors do not know about it. There's a couple ways that you can go about it. It's actually a bacteria. So what doctors typically like to do is put you on antibiotics for like a year. And I'm not kidding you. And that's, I mean, if that's your only option, that's your only option because it's destroying your joints. However, you really, really want, one way or another, you want to transform your gut flora. I mean, that's pretty much what it is. Your gut flora is like a garden. And everything you're eating is contributing to specific bacteria being fed in the gut. And I hate to say this, and you can look up the studies, there is actual studies on this. This is where you want to eat very large amounts of fruits and vegetables. And then we'll see if it works. Let me know if you can still hear me. Somehow, somebody was trying to call while I'm doing this. All right, well, let's see if that worked. I'll tell you, I hope this person doesn't try calling again, though everybody left. Hey, somebody stuck around. Look at that. Well, they ruined the feed, didn't they? Well, I'm not sure if you guys can still hear me. Yeah, I guess I'm back. I guess you'll be the only one to hear it. Well, are you? I don't know if you're the person who was asking about arthritis. Let's see here. I gotta go grab a few things, so I'm gonna be gone for a second. I'll be right back. Gotta go grab some more vegetables. this other produce away. I needed to bring up anyway. So that worked out. So, if everybody left, I guess I could probably, wow, people came back. Okay, yes, it was me who asked about arthritis. Barbara says, I'm interested also about arthritis. How much more do you think he can squeeze in? So here's the deal. So again, it's about your gut flora, and it's also about anti-inflammatory foods. And it's also, now the thing that really takes it to the next level, because there's just stuff in our food, you know, there's pesticides, even organic food, which I buy, and this is what I'm using. But it doesn't mean that it has zero pesticides. So there's still things in our environment, in our water. That's why I suggest cleaning your water to the highest degree, which is the carbon distiller. And the real magic, I mean, as far as what I've seen personally, is the hydrogen. I mean, I've seen people, if you really want to even try to the easy route, I've seen people do the hydrogen and the arthritis go away, and they're only eating a semi-healthy lifestyle, not completely like 100% healthy in my opinion, and the arthritis go away. So I think just clean water and hydrogen is always the easiest first steps, and then, you know, you can move forward. I mean, I can suggest getting off of dairy. You know, dairy is one that I'll eat dairy, but very seldom. It's about ratios, you know, like I don't eat it, but maybe 2-3 times a year. Let's see, how much more do you think he can squeeze in? Yeah, we're about to find out, huh? We're about to find out. Let's see how much more I can get in here. Today I'm using the smaller blender, the vacuum blender, because I just like the way that it maintains the nutrients. I can definitely taste the difference. And I'm putting such high quality products in here that I just want to get the most out of it. And ironically, although I make less, which I guess technically would save me money, right? Because I'm using less produce, but I potentially am absorbing the same amount of nutrients out of all of it. So the vacuum blender, but it also depends on how many people you're making it for. I've made smoothies for literally quite a few people, which I had to use my larger blender. And this one, I can't load it up all the way to the top because the vacuum blender sucks the oxygen, and you can suck stuff right into it and it will break it. So you always have to leave some room. So let's see here. So yeah, so the arthritis thing, there's a couple different ways you can go. Like I said, you can go about it. And it can be very diet, but I think hydrogen's easier. And sometimes, even if you change your diet, it may not work as much. It'll probably work to some degree, but sometimes when you have, like I said, a specific bacteria, it takes time. And when I say it takes time, I mean it takes time for your gut flora to transform. But I do think the diet will be extremely helpful if you can't afford it. If you can afford it, well, yeah, the easy answer is super clean water and hydrogen would be my personal go-to, because that's basically what happened to me. I mean, I had really bad arthritis. I mean, it's so debilitating, and I definitely couldn't even work a remote control. A lot of pain, a lot of difficulty walking. I mean, I had inflammation all over my body, and very autoimmune issue, you know, very autoimmune related, you know, stuff like that. And this particular carrot is so dirty. I'm really trying to wash all this stuff off of it. And carrots, you know, I try to do it as affordable as I can and as simple as I can. I don't want 20 different machines. I don't want 50 different supplements. And if you notice, my lifestyle is very simple. One, gotta have a carbon distiller. I mean, I have to have clean water. There's just no if, buts, whatever. I gotta have clean water. A water filter is not good enough, but if it's all I had, obviously it's all I would use. But for me, it's just an absolute priority to have my carbon distiller. There is a product that doesn't really exist that works really good right now, but in the future, I'm definitely gonna want one. And it's like this, it uses solar power to actually take moisture out of the air to turn into water. The only problem is if the air is not very clean, the water will be contaminated. You'd have to be somewhere with like really clean air. I'm kind of thinking certain islands in Hawaii, as they have the cleanest air in the entire United States apparently. And so that would be cool because you could actually take it around with you. But I don't think they really got them to work properly so far. So I've been looking into that kind of technology for a while. But that's the first thing, you know. And then my hydrogen machine, I mean, it's kind of my, dare I say, my salvation to health. So it's really hard for me to go without it. I can go without it for quite a while and be fine. And I've known people who, somebody with arthritis actually, who actually used the hydrogen. Their arthritis went away. They were able to get off medicines. It was a thing of beauty because the medicine that he was on is so damaging to the liver. In fact, I know somebody else who was kind of stubborn, didn't want to do the hydrogen. They didn't want to spend the money actually. And they were on the same exact medication. And I'm not kidding you, because after 5 years, it can just totally destroy your liver. This person was on that medicine for about 6 or 7 years, and she just recently died. And it caused liver failure, and it killed her. And so if she would have just gone on hydrogen, she'd probably still be alive. And that's the sad part, you know. People make certain choices, and I hate making choices based on money. I mean, sometimes you have to, but I really don't like doing it, because if it's going to cost you your life, what good is money if you're dead? You know, it does nobody no good. So that's why I put a lot of money and value into my health. But I always try to do it in a way that's affordable. I mean, these smoothies, at least in my opinion, they're affordable, you know? You know, especially when you stop buying other foods, which is what I've done, obviously. There's a lot of other stuff I do not buy now. And then I try to find bargains. I found a place with the best organic bananas, and the carrots are really cheap. And I found a place to get the chia seeds really cheap. You know, stuff like that. All right, guys, you're about to see a vacuum blender in action. Here we go, almost there. Again, why vacuum blending? Well, because it's going to suck all the oxygen out of it, which is just wild, and it's going to keep the food from oxidizing so I can get maximum nutrition. And I'll tell you right now, I've already had blood work on these methods that I've been doing, and it's clearly showing amazing results. In fact, even my doctor just couldn't believe it. Like, how are you doing this? This is not possible. Like, well, I'm doing it. And then, of course, they want to know how, but when you tell them how, they're like, oh, it's too much work. They thought it was just some pill. Nope, sorry, not a pill. All right, so the water's up to, let's see, where's the water at? It's about to right here. So let's go vacuum. Here we go. The moment of truth, guys. How much more can we fit in here? Not much more. Okay, so I'm debating whether I could put more water, to be quite honest. I think it's going to be close, so I'll just turn it on. And I don't even have to push it on here because it'll just suck on its own. Here we go. Watch the water level going up. Oh, and it's too much. Okay, so see, when it gets really close, I stop it, because otherwise they'll suck it into this blender contraption and it can damage it. So that to me is close enough. And unfortunately, I'd like to do a little more. You know what I can do, actually? Here, I'm gonna go and stop again. Oh, stop right there. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is actually turn off the blender, because you don't want it turning on the vacuum part. You don't want it turning on and sucking while I'm blending. So let's blend this down a little bit. And look at these Japanese blades in action. These are Japanese blades in this thing, and it just tears this stuff up. Look how quick it is. So that was impressive. Look at that. That was quick. Okay, now let's just go ahead and do it again. I feel like that's pretty much it. Here's the chia seeds that I said from earlier. I'm gonna put them in the fridge now to keep them fresh. All right. Now we got a few magic ingredients. I say magic ingredients. More healthy fats, oils, and protein. That's hemp hearts. This stuff is unbelievably nutritious. And let's blend it up a little more. Oops. I don't like it too chunky, so I'm going to blend it a little more. Notice how the blender doesn't bounce around. When I do my Vitamix, this thing's dancing everywhere. With this one, it's smoother. And it's the same Vitamix, I just got the kit for the vacuum. I personally think it's the blades. Here we go. I think that's it. Okay, so the trick is, here's the hard part. The hard part is actually taking this thing off of the blender contraption because it's suction on there. I mean, it's suction on here so hard. Look, I could just lift it from right here. You know, it's like I don't know if you could pay me to get this thing off. I think you'd be having to be like the world's strongest man to get this thing off. Look. No, that's not going to work. This thing is on here. So then it's got a little valve to release the air, and you'll hear it when I lift it. There, and you heard the air. But when I let it go, it kind of creates a little bit of a suction, so it gets it a little easier to take off, but it's still really hard. Still really tough. So what I did is I grab a little tissue, a clean tissue, and I put it right under the valve to leave the valve open. The creators of this thought that was really unique. They couldn't even figure out how to do that. It was kind of funny. And then the way I lift it is I use my thumb on here, but I like to put something on there because it's just a little, not super sharp, but I used to kind of cut myself slightly there. So I just put this on there. I put my thumb on here and then my other fingers on here, and I just pull up the corner. And there we go. That's the easiest way to get this thing off that I have discovered. And I might blend it a little more, add a little more water, but for right now, I'm gonna just drink some because I'm hungry. And I'm gonna pour this, super highly nutritious, super good for your gut microbiome, anti-inflammatory to the max. Not only did I put hydrogen water in there, I loaded up on hydrogen water. This is also extremely important with arthritis in my opinion. Because this nutrient is so ridiculously important, and you are not going to get it from food. You're going to have a really hard time getting it from the sun, and that's vitamin D3 with K2 in its ionic form. My vitamin D levels are absolutely perfect. I've had them tested, and I'll tell you right now, vitamin D is so important, anti-inflammatory, good for cognition, good for bone health, good for your immune system. The #1 doctor in the world that researches it, his data was so impressive to me. I'm like, I got to make sure to get proper vitamin D levels. And I was already into always getting my proper nutrient levels. I'm really big on overcoming, I don't care what kind of diet you have, to be quite honest, but you have to overcome all nutritional deficiencies. My goal is the least amount of calories, the least amount of garbage, and even the least amount of food, as long as I can get all the nutrients. And that's not easy. But I've been able to do it. Let's see. Yes, okay. Somebody says, how much more? Nope, they said, okay, I make a blend and it lasts me about 3 days. I have just learned that it's better doing it daily. Is there much of a difference? Yeah, there is. The magic of the food doesn't, there's certain aspects of the food that only stay in there for a certain amount of time. I'm putting hemp hearts on there, obviously the most well-balanced protein in the world of omega-3s and 6s. And hemp hearts just on their own, if you were to read the nutritional content, is so ridiculous. It's almost like a multivitamin. It's got, people kept going on about copper. I rather get it in my food. Everything I rather get in my food, manganese, zinc, magnesium, phosphorus. I mean, these things are awesome. They're a little expensive, but it's so worth it, you know, for your health, in my opinion. Okay, let's go over here and I'll answer the rest of your questions. Oh yeah, it tastes so good. It just tastes so different when you vacuum blend it. It's almost hard to believe. It just really tastes different. And then the last magic ingredient, I have one more magic ingredient. This brings it all together, brings it all home, as I say. And that is inhaling hydrogen while I actually drink all this amazing nutrition. Even greater absorption. I'm telling you right now, everything's about absorbing nutrients. You can eat as many nutrients as you want, take as many vitamins, but you usually don't absorb them. And then they put a strain on your kidneys, in my opinion. And that's not going to do you much good. You don't want to strain your kidneys either. Let's see here. I'm trying to put on my cannula here. And then I'll answer some of your questions, and then I'm going to go and enjoy the rest of my weekend, probably go on a hike or something. Okay, let's see here. Boy, hard to reach here. Let's see. It says, oh yeah, Mario says, any suggestions for the late stage 4 gastric and liver cancer? Recipe for smoothies or hydrogen water protocols? Absolutely, actually, and it really depends on which direction you want to go. Now, as I said before, I don't give any medical advice, no medical claims. When it comes to cancer, I absolutely despise cancer. I really, really hate it. I have learned a lot about it. I read absolutely massive amounts of data when it comes to cancer. I don't want to say it's like my specialty or anything, but, and I've worked with people with cancer. I've seen people's cancer go away. It's a bold claim. I'm not making any claims, by the way. I'm just saying I've seen it. And it was, this particular guy was actually somebody who followed my protocol to the T. But you have to understand, cancer, to me, is not just black or white. Cancer works very interestingly. It really works a lot like a virus. And it also works a lot like parasites. And it also works a lot like bacteria. And there is no single answer for it in the sense that, let's say, for example, and then before I keep going, somebody says, where does one get the vacuum kit? I have a Vitamix. May I attach the vacuum kit to a Vitamix? Yes, that's literally what I just showed you. It's at a website called, maybe somebody can write it for Barbara. It's void-system.com. And then you can even get a discount on it with the code Uprising144K. They've been really kind to work with me, and I love their product. And so cancer is, there's no simple answer as far as, like, for example, because it is your own cells, and that's a problem. That's why, for example, if you take an antibiotic for bacteria, the antibiotic, you don't just take one for all bacteria. They have different types of antibiotics because you have to see which ones work depending on the type of bacteria that you're dealing with. Here, let me take this off. Some people make fun of my apron, but you know, it's actually really helpful. You know, it's, you can splash stuff on it, you can wipe your hands on it, it's got pockets, whatever. I love my apron even though it doesn't look very cool. And I'm just wearing my, just my morning, not cool clothes, guys. So ultimately, there's different types of bacteria, and in my opinion, there's different types of cancer. Not all of them respond to certain types of treatment, which is why you never know which one's going to respond to what, which is why I kind of throw everything at it. So I do everything that would be good, you know, the diet, the hydrogen water. If you're going to go the chemotherapy route, like the person who's asking about the gastric and liver cancer, which, by the way, I'm very sorry to hear, you know, of whoever it is that's going through that. It is just something that is horrific. Again, I really do hate it. I've cared for people with it. I mean, it really bugs me. I hate to see people suffer like that. Now, if you're going to go the chemotherapy route, then I have different suggestions. Now, some of my suggestions are the same for everybody. One, super clean water. Why super clean water when it comes to cancer? Because if you were to see the lab reports, and I think I actually, here, well, I think I might have it right here. Let me grab it and show you guys. Oh yeah, look at that. Well, yeah, look at that. I do have it. I do have some of this stuff. Let's see here. I mean, I won't show you all of it or anything, but I'll grab something here. Let me just say that clean water is important because let's just say that it's the water in the first place that contributed to the cancer potentially. Why would water contribute to it? This is a lab test of what's in water, guys. Lists and lists of chemicals. Okay, there's I mean, some of this stuff you can't even pronounce. I know everybody knows this one, fluoride. I'm not a fan of fluoride. In fact, you know what? Let's just see if we can put this to rest real quick. Let's see here. If fluoride, if there's any research, fluoride causing cancer research. Let's see if there's anything out there about it. Let's see here. Fluoride. They're not wanting to classify it as a carcinogen. They reviewed the evidence back in 2010. It concluded, evidence of fluoride in water to osteosarcoma, which, by the way, appears to be a cancer. So, wow, there is research. Jeez. Now, doesn't that boggle your mind? We technically have research showing that there might, I'm not making any claims, might be a risk of fluoride for cancer, and yet it's still in everybody else's water. Wow. Well, okay. They're saying that there's little evidence. Now, this is hilarious. There's little evidence that fluoride is harmful or causes cancer. Little. How much do we need? You know, and not only that, how many studies are they actually doing? There might just be little evidence because they're doing very little studies. Simple fact is, I'm not a fan. And there's a lot of things like that in our water. A lot of pesticides. This is one of the big ones, PFAS. This water that they used. So they just took, you know, a lot of tap waters from a lot of places, tested a lot of them. They all seem to have very similar things anyway. And one of them is PFOAs or PFOS. They call them PFAS, forever chemicals. The simple fact is that there's a bunch of stuff in our water that appears to potentially cause cancer, okay? So if you're gonna try to deal with cancer, you're gonna wanna stop introducing the things into your body that are potentially causing it. And that's why I do this. Here, I'll just show you from here. See that thing down there? That's a carbon distiller. Okay, that cleans the water, okay? To the highest degree possible. And a lot of people do not know this about water. I actually learned it from these lab tests because I didn't even know this. I know that we have a lot of pesticides and everything. I know that we have bacteria, so it literally tells us, like living organisms, we're talking bacteria, parasites, viruses, cysts, spores, really gross stuff in our water. You think that your water filter removes this? Not likely, okay? It's highly unlikely actually, because the only way that I know to remove this stuff out of water is through carbon distillation. That's one of the reasons that you boil water. It's not to clean it, it's to try to kill pathogens in it before you drink it so you don't get sick. But the distillation, carbon distillation, does even more than that. It removes, or it appears to remove, all this contaminants and get rid of the viruses, bacteria, parasites. So, and it's not expensive. The website you can get, the one that I use, which is a high quality American made, you know, I only want the best, is called mypurewater.com. The discount code is uprising144K, and their cheapest system's like 600 and something bucks. And with the discount code, it's like 500 and something dollars. And these machines, as far as my experience is, and they'll just last a lifetime. They just run and run and run. I run mine all the time. The other one that surprises me that's in water is radioactive contaminants. Absolutely mind-boggling. I had no idea that we potentially had radioactive contaminants. So the good news is carbon distillation, they have the numbers here as far as before and after the distillation, and the reduction was 99% and 99.8%. So that's good, in my opinion, right? Your normal water filter will most likely not do that. Now, I will say the radioactive contaminants are most harmful for children, little babies, little kids. Yeah, basically the reason is because their bodies are not fully developed, immune systems aren't fully developed, liver's not fully developed, kidneys are not fully developed. By the way, thanks for all the thumbs up. And so let me just tell you, clean water is absolutely crucial. Second thing I would do, regardless, and if you are going to do chemo, in fact, you should comment and tell me what your treatment plan is, because if you plan on doing chemo, there are other techniques that will significantly make the chemotherapy, according to data, so and you can look up the data, make the chemotherapy more effective. I can tell you a story. This is a very interesting story of a woman that I actually knew. And this woman had breast cancer. Again, super sad. I hate cancer. And they told her she had like 3 months to live. She was terminal. There was nothing that they could do. The one thing I got her on was clean water and hydrogen. She wanted to go conventional route. The doctor said they were willing to do chemo, though they didn't think that it would do much good. I'm telling you right now, if you're going to do chemo, absolutely get on hydrogen water because it changes the way that it works. In fact, they had all these treatments laid out for, I can't remember the amount, but I'm going to give you a random number. It was like, let's say 10 treatments, right? By the time she was done with 5, and remember, they told her the chemo wouldn't work, by the way, but they were just trying something because she was terminal. By the time she was halfway through the treatments, the cancer was all gone. The doctors couldn't believe it. I feel very confident that it was the hydrogen with their treatment because there's research on this, by the way. And then that was it. Her cancer was gone. And guess what? She's still alive. She was supposed to be alive 3 months. It's been like 7 or 8 years. It was absolutely crazy. So anyway, it just depends on what direction you really want to go. Mario says, just to inform, I have declined chemotherapy. Also, I've been strictly organic with my diet and I've never consumed tap water since 15 years. It's not whether you consume tap water. Where are you getting your water, Mario? And how are you filtering it? What kind of filter? Is it a carbon filter, reverse osmosis? Because are you buying bottled water? Why don't you share, I guess, with everybody here and we'll talk about it. If you're going to go about it in regards to quote unquote a dietary way, I mean, there is a few things here. I do suggest this. This is, I got some videos on this. I could probably pull up which video it is. There are a few products that I'm, bottled water. Okay. Bottled water, Mario, is horrible. You're going to just want to you need to get a carbon distiller. Bottled water has been tested. It's pretty much just tap water that was run through a carbon filter. The major problem with bottled water is that it has a very high amount of microplastics. This has already been verified. I mean, I could pull it up right now and show you on Google or whatever. Bottled water also affects you hormonally in very bad ways. Microplastics, I used to treat even bottled water with shungite. Yeah, that's not gonna, look, I know about shungite. It's not gonna fix it. You know, does it have some benefit? Sure. And I'm not trying to be difficult on you. I'm trying to help you here. So basically, bottled water is just not that impressive. I mean, I hate to tell you that. It's also the most expensive way of getting water. Having your own carbon distiller pays itself off typically in about 6 months, and you have the highest quality water that you can basically get. They sit in those plastic things too long. Microplastics are what is PFAS, the forever chemicals. And we know, by the way, beyond the shadow of a doubt, the research is already super, super clear that we know that PFAS leads to cancer, okay? And the reason if you talk to a toxicologist, what toxicologists often do is they'll tell you, if you're within this range of, let's say PFAS, it's safe, right? They're always saying that. Within this is safe range, this is safe range, though we get these contaminants from many different places. With PFAS recently, they changed their story. And now they're saying no amount is safe. All right, so, I mean, I'm just gonna say, and I don't wanna beat a dead horse here, I would get off the bottled water and get yourself a carbon distiller if you wanna, try to do something good for yourself. In fact, let me just see if I can just find it here. PFOA, does it cause cancer? And let's see what the research says. Okay. PFAS has been classified as a possibly carcinogenic to humans. Possibly, huh? This is funny. That's December 2023. I already heard the toxicologist talk about this. This decision was based on strong evidence that PFAS may cause changes within your body that could be linked to cancer. I thought this was already established. Some of these studies do show increased risk of testicular cancer, kidney cancer with exposure to PFOS. The studies have also suggested a possible link to thyroid cancer and may increase the risk in, well, the increase they think is maybe potentially small for thyroid. Let's see, I mean, there's just so much. American Cancer Society, here we go. Many studies have been looked at PFAS. There was 2 types of research. I mean, there's actually a lot of it. National Cancer Institute, results from that, linked to breast cancer. I mean, to me, I feel like the answer is so simple. PFAS, no good. Bottled water, hate to tell you, not the best. So, also, I don't know what diet you want to go with, but I will show you a product that I'm very fascinated by. This is actually from Japan. The Japanese ultimately discovered a specific mushroom that at a certain stage of its growth, they make an extract, and they were using it for animals. So this was not supposed to be for humans, by the way. And I can pull up my video. I mean, somebody put the link down below once I give my video number, if you guys don't mind helping out. Let me look up here real quick, because it really appears to have a very unique effect on cancer. And the reason that this is important is because this product, I've talked to some people who I know, and the people who are using it, they've already seen some people have, I'll just say, because I'm not making any claims, I'll just say they've seen some remarkable results from this product. And it's not that expensive, which is really nice. And I'm trying to find which video number it is. Oh, there's 2 of them. Video 467 and 468, and the links for the products are below. The other one is this one, Leotril. Now, Leotril used to be an anti-cancer drug back in the day, and they wanted to take it off the shelf somehow. B17, Leotril. These are things that I would personally be doing. Me, personally, is what I would do. Along with the hydrogen and clean water. And then the whole diet part, we can talk about that because a lot of people disagree, but there are 2 diets that you can go with. Me personally, I would only go with one choice. I'll give you one example. There was a doctor, you can actually look this up. He had a brain tumor, and there was nothing they could do for him. And he went completely plant-based. He was only supposed to live 6 to 8 months. He was able to live for 16 to 17 years and had a really good high quality of life. And it was fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, and beans. So that's what he ate. The latest data shows that a lot too. I can pull up a lot of data on that, but okay. Moving on. Chunky says, how long do microplastics stay in your system? How much damage does it do over decades, and is the damage irreversible? So again, no claims or anything, but my opinion is, yes, they can be excreted out of the body. In fact, here, let's see if I can find you something that actually proves that what I'm saying is true, because they've been doing these, okay, let's urine analysis, and they found, obviously they test for like, it's really crazy. They test people's urine, oh, the products again. Well, Soljaw, it's not just the name of these products, there's a link for them. So if you want the link, the video is, all my videos are on my channel and they're numbered, video 467 and 468. I mean, if you want to help support the channel and get a discount, then if you can use those links, that'd be great. If you don't want to support the channel or get the discount, then that's fine too. This one can be found at a website called rncstore.com. These are lab tested, by the way. They just have the highest quality stuff, in my opinion. The rncstore.com. Somebody type it out for him. Discount code uprising144K. This one you have to use the link, or I mean, I guess I could find it real quick. Let's see. I mean, I could click on my own video, and let's see here. What is the link for it? It is, no, it's here somewhere. Where did it go? Where did it go? Let's see. Oh, it's old. having a hard time finding it. Maybe if I just go to the video. I'm pulling up my own videos,
Here's
guys.
an easy thing you could...
Okay, so it is hman.petclub, see I told you it's for pets, 247.com. So maybe somebody can write that down for him. Again, that is hman.petclub247.com. This one's very interesting. Very, very interesting. I'm fascinated by this one. So yeah. Okay, so as far as microplastics, so what I was actually doing was seeing if they have any urine tests. Let's see. So they do biological samples. Let's see how they're doing it. Yep, they found it in the kidney tissue. That's what I was suspecting. And in the urine. There you go. Let's see here. How can you test for microplastics in other ways? Let's see. There's a new method. And yes, I do think that you can get them out of your body, by the way. I'll tell you how in a second. Let's see, I'm just trying to find some first evidence in microplastics. What did I tell you? Right here we go. See, I hate to say it. I mean, I don't like to toot my own horn, by the way, but if I'm right, I'm right. And the evidence is microplastics in human urine. There you go. That's how simple it is. Because they do the same thing with pesticides. They test our urine to see how many pesticides we're actually consuming. I actually saw, it was the most amazing thing. They took a whole family, guys. They tested all their urine, the mother, the father, the kids. I think they had 2 or 3 kids. And then they showed a chart. And the amount of pesticides that was coming out of their urine was like really high. They put the whole family on an organic diet, like all organic foods, to see if it really made a difference. Because people are always saying, oh, organic doesn't matter, whatever. And they did it for like a month or 2. They did the exact same urine analysis. And the father, whose levels were like this, ended up being like this. They were barely, like very, very low. The mother, same thing. The kids, non-existent. So their kidneys were probably flushing this stuff out faster because they're healthier and they're younger. And also probably, you know, a lot of it probably has to do with metabolism, youth. And they probably don't have as much pesticides built up in their body as their parents do because the parents have been around a lot longer. But urine analysis, there you go. Okay, so this is how you get rid of microplastics. I was gonna do a video on this, a separate video. I'll tell you my opinion. So here's the thing. You really want, in my opinion, to be what I would call, you can call it detoxing, whatever. Your body's always trying to, by the way, your body's always trying to detox. That's why this stuff is showing up in the urine. It's trying to push the stuff out of your body. What ends up happening, and I literally just saw a kidney and bladder specialist recently because I wanted to do some interesting tests. I do this kind of stuff all the time. And what I learned was they can see your kidneys. They did a scan on mine, right? Ultrasound. And they said that as you age, or what they see a lot in people who are getting older, is people's kidneys are getting smaller. They said it's just all the toxicity, all the garbage that your poor kidneys are having to deal with. And it's ruining your kidneys. This is why I said, clean your water, okay? Because water is gonna help flush everything. And the kidney specialist was telling me about this too. I mean, I already knew. They weren't really telling me anything I didn't know. Now, when they saw my scan, they literally were shocked. The lady was like, wow. Like, because she has my chart, and she's like, based on your quote unquote age and what I'm seeing, she says, I can't believe it. I mean, if nobody would have told me, I would have guessed you have the kidneys of an 18-year-old, 20-year-old, like, they're unbelievable. And then they can see the blood flow, and they have different colors, and they were looking at it, and it was just unbelievable. And then when she saw my bladder, and they checked my bladder, like, oh my goodness, like, my bladder is huge. And she couldn't believe that I could hold my urine. She's like, she thought I was, you know, she's like, you should be doing the pee-pee dance right now. Do you not have to go? I'm like, no, I'm fine. The hydrogen is giving me such bladder control, it's unbelievable. Even when I was younger, I did not have the power that my bladder has now. And that's wild. I mean, I used to have to get up to go to the bathroom, you know, once, twice, maybe 3 times at night. It just depends because I'm a big water drinker. Now I get up 0. I don't have to get up at all. In fact, even when I wake up in the morning, I start doing other stuff and brush my teeth. I forget I haven't even gone to the bathroom yet. A lot of times I'll start drinking my hydrogen water before I even go. So, anywho, Pulling microplastics out of your body. Secret, one, stop trying to introduce them into your body. So that way your body has time to get rid of this stuff. It's kind of like piling more work. Don't give me any more work or minimize my workload. That's the first thing. How do you do that? Clean your water. I've been telling you guys, clean water is so essential to health. So is clean air. But here, I'll just show you. Again, there's a carbon distiller right there. It's running. It literally takes 3 to 6 hours to make 1 gallon of the cleanest water known to man. 3 to 6 hours. I run it all night. I wake up in the morning, there's a fresh gallon, and then I turn it on again, which I just did right now. Unless you get one of the big systems that they have, which are more expensive, and then it's all automatic. It literally has a giant, tank, and you just get the water out whenever you want. So clean water is the first thing, because you want clean water going through your veins. You do not want water with microplastics, and water appears to be the #1 source of microplastics, okay? This is why I told you bottled water sucks. Hate to tell you that, it sucks. I mean, I could pull up the evidence on that too if you really want. Okay, so that's the first thing. The second thing that's really important, I really think hydrogen, because the hydrogen not only hydrates you, it goes to every little nick and cranny, even into the penetrating the mitochondria, past the blood-brain barrier, and the way that it appears to help with the free radicals, which I believe the plastics and the PFAS is affecting, and how it affects you hormonally, and the research on how hydrogen helps you hormonally. I just think hydrogen's a no-brainer. Now, the next thing that's actually really, really great in my opinion, oh, here, hold on a second. Awesome, thank you. I screen recorded it. Oh, okay, good. And Souljaw says, same with the mornings. Oh my God, I thought I was crazy. Also, it has lowered my systolic blood pressure by 20 mm. Oh, so he's probably talking about hydrogen, where he's having the same effect in the mornings where he has so much bladder control. It's crazy. I mean, it's so crazy. If I get off hydrogen, probably within 2 to 4 weeks, my bladder control starts going away again. And then all of a sudden, it goes back to the way I used to be, not superhuman. Right now, my bladder is like superhuman. And the way it was, definitely not. So, by the way, a lot of people have reported that. And then, of course, helping with blood pressure, I've seen that a million times. Blood glucose, arthritis, inflammation. The hydrogen, clean water and hydrogen are just magical. That's just my opinion, okay? So the next way to pull microplastics out of your body, and this is the big one. I mean, the ones I just told you are big also, but you want to hit it with everything it's got, because we've got microplastics everywhere. And by the way, I'm going to tell you the big secret, but give me a second. I'm going to grab more smoothie because I just finished my cup and I like it. Hold on. Okay. In fact, add a little bit more hydrogen water to it because it's kind of thick, and it doesn't bother me that it's thick, but maybe a little less thick. Here we go. And just give me 1 second. I'll tell you the very important way to get microplastics out of your body. That should be good. Magical smoothie. Oh, I love this. He's so good. Now, can it be an acquired taste? I guess it could, but I will tell you, I've actually made this smoothie for quite a few people who would definitely not like those foods, a lot of kids too, and they love it. I haven't had one person yet say that they didn't like it. I did have one person turn it down though, because he's like, dude, I'll never be able to stomach it. And I really wish he would have tried it, because everybody else who's ever tried it actually likes it. And they just can't believe it because they see what I put in it. They're like, they just straight up can't believe it. Okay. All right, let me tell you the last secret on how to really get these microplastics. Cece says, hi, is using oil in cooking for salad dressings okay, like organic olive oil? Okay, if you use true 100% olive oil, because there's a lot of imposters and fakes, it has to have a spice to it. There's a lot of oils that they claim are real, just like honey. You go to the store and it says 100% raw organic honey, and it's not true. In fact, if you guys want the best honey, shoot, I'll show you what I've been using. Really good stuff. I love this stuff. What's their website? Their website is eternal-honey.com. I buy these big buckets. And by the way, if we ever have a cataclysmic disaster, honey was found in a tomb that was over 2,000 years old, and the honey was still good. This stuff stays good forever. There's no need to pasteurize it or any of the things that they do. And look how beautiful it is. Super dark. Super beautiful. The smell. Oh, this stuff is so good. I don't have any discount codes for this or anything. Sorry, guys, but still really good stuff. I only share with you guys what it is that I personally use. And this stuff is really high quality, truly raw. I got a chance to talk to the beekeeper. He was able to educate me a lot. And I've talked to a lot of different beekeepers, so I always cross-verify information. And so as far as if you have a really good oil, and if you put it on your salad dressing, in my opinion, that's fine. If you heat it, like on a pan, the moment you heat the oil, you ruin it. It becomes a carcinogen. Just look at even something like gasoline. If you look at gasoline, it literally looks like water. You burn it and then you see all the smoke and it's like makes you cough and it smells like crap. It's like burning plastic, you know? So yeah, if it's in its like raw oil form, that's fine. Though I wouldn't use a lot of it because that is kind of it's been processed. And so I like to get my oils really from my food. You know, the avocados, the nuts, where I use things like walnuts, and I use things like pistachios and macadamia nuts, and I use pumpkin seeds. I use flax seeds. Like I try to get all my fats, you know, the avocado, the coconut creams. Like this is where I like to get my fats, not processed oils. Like fried foods, stir fried, deep fried, they're actually really bad for you. And there's already evidence, we already know. I've been actually saying it for a long time because I could just feel it. When I would ingest it, my skin looked horrible. I would break out with a lot of acne and I just felt horrible. So anyway, the last way to get the microplastics out is massive amounts of fiber. This is why I make these smoothies, because you cannot, it's so hard to consume this level of fiber. You think you can do a supplement, that's fine, but the Japanese have discovered that the fiber from fruits and vegetables, nuts and seeds and beans is not the same, which means that some supplement is not going to do it. This is actually a huge reason why I make these smoothies. These smoothies actually are purifying you and detoxing you, cleaning out your GI system, in my opinion, pulling out the microplastics along with the clean water that's hydrogen water. That's the way to do it. Okay. I'm gonna let you guys go here real soon. Any last questions? The guy with the cancer, I'm really sorry to hear that. I mean, you can email me if you really, really wanna do, if you want some help with it. If not, it's fine. My email's uprising144k@gmail.com. Let's see, Barbara says, I have been using a Berkey water filter. Are you familiar with it? Yes, I'm very familiar with Berkey. They're actually undergoing a lawsuit due to unsubstantiated claims about what their system does. I've seen some lab reports of water before and after the Berkey. I'm not gonna say that I hate the Berkey. I like the Berkey. Just make sure you don't use their fluoride filters, okay? Their fluoride filters appear, I'm making no claims here, appear, at least what I saw, to actually be making the water worse, which is wild. Okay, you can go Google it, go look for it, you'll find the information, I'm sure. But it's still not going to get everything that you want out of the water. And they claim to get all the viruses and stuff. I don't believe that they get all viruses, bacteria, spores, parasites. No. I don't think there's any water filter that can do that except for carbon distillation. There is a reason that you have to boil your water to kill pathogens. There's nothing else can do that. That's why the carbon distiller does that, because the carbon distiller is heating up the water and running it through the steam through a process. It is just the cleanest you can get. With the things that are being found in our water lately, and the pharmaceuticals in our water, and I know how carbon filters work, which is basically what a Berkey kind of is, that would be my emergency device if there was no electricity or something, or if I was camping. But if I have electricity, I'm gonna treat my body the best way, and that's carbon distillation. So that's my opinion on that, Barbara. Hope that helps. Cece says, how would you cook, for example, vegetables in a pan for a curry instead of using oil? Would you use a different oil, like coconut oil? No, okay. I will not cook with any oil. It doesn't matter if it's coconut, olive, canola, palm, it doesn't matter. Any oil you heat up turns into a carcinogen. So all the food that I like to eat is either gonna be boiled, fermented, raw. Sometimes you can even cook it like in water. There's a way to pan fry, but with water instead of oils. And steam the food too. Steaming food is also a really good way to do it. So that's the way that I go about it, and that's how I minimize the carcinogenic effect, because carcinogens, we know, lead to the big C word, guys, cancer. So yeah, so everybody's so used to cooking with oil. And don't get me wrong, it tastes so good. I know, I totally get it. You should see how that also affects blood glucose levels. Blood glucose is never a good thing either in regards to having too much, because it increases your risk of infection from both viruses and bacteria, which basically sickness. And I'm sure you guys know how much cancer loves sugar. Having sugar spikes, it's just not a good thing. Life is all about balance. It's another reason that I make these smoothies, because the Japanese discovered that if you eat vegetables first thing in the morning, which, see, I learned when I read data, guys, I want to learn how to apply it. So I see this and I'm thinking, how am I going to eat vegetables first thing in the morning? I mean, I do not want to sit down and have a carrot for breakfast. You know, I don't want to be chomping on celery for breakfast. I just didn't want to do that. That's one of the reasons I created the smoothie. They discovered that if you eat vegetables first thing in the morning, now granted, I do my hydrogen water first, always get hydrated. Then I made this smoothie so that I could get vegetables in me, because it appears to regulate blood glucose all day long. And that's amazing. So anyway, yada, yada, yada. You know, so many people have gotten sick out there. People who've had lung issues that just aren't resolving, all these different things. And I am so thankful that I am, oh my gosh, I'm doing really, really great in that regard. And so whether it's my lungs, whether it's my blood, whether, you know, all these different things, I'm just very thankful that I'm feeling as good as I am. And unfortunately, a lot of people are just not doing so good these days. Okay, I'm gonna get going. I don't see any last questions. Thank you for all the thumbs up. I do appreciate it. It's good for the algorithm, which means people will be able to find the information, which is really the reason I'm doing this, to try to help people feel better, because I believe when people are better and happier, they're going to be better in better health, which spreads to other people and has a positive effect on hopefully the world. Even though this is small, I know we only have, you know, less than 100 viewers on here, but, you know, try to share, subscribe. It's all free anyway, as that's the way I like to do everything here, is for free, never charging for any of it. And that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. Let's see, Barbara says thank you, you're welcome. Cece says thank you, you're welcome. Dramor says meat smells bad. You know, in some ways I agree with you, Dramor. And then once in a while, you know, when it's cooking and you're really hungry, you know, things smell different when you're hungry. I've noticed this. Even like salads, like if I'm super hungry, salads taste amazing. Though now I've grown to love them, so I love them anyway. But meat does smell really good sometimes, and then sometimes it does smell pretty gross. It just kind of depends. And Jamor says, bye-bye. See you, bud. Mario says, thank you for answering questions and the amazing advice. You're very welcome. I really sincerely hope it helps everybody out there. And you guys know how to find the videos if you have questions, all right? Thanks again for watching, guys. I'll see you guys next time on the next one.